All right. So this is a live video on the first principle of my book, Natural Law. Many people out there in the world are, well, they just have natural law kind of mixed up with what it actually is. Natural law in my book, principle number one, fade the song out, patriotic music for sure. Natural law is nothing right reasoning. And what do I mean by right reasoning? I mean, basically, if there's a best choice to be made at any time, in any circumstance, with the knowledge that one has, that you make that choice. Hopefully that makes sense. Whether that knowledge wherever from a book or your own personal ponderings or from the scriptures or from another person. But yeah, natural law. What does natural law have to do with anything that we're doing right now? Well, natural law is basically the foundation of anything. If something is natural law, it means it makes sense. Now, it could make sense that it's a good thing, and it could make sense that it's a bad thing. When you say something is natural law, it's basically absolute. Absolute meaning there's no argument. There's no it can go no farther, and you cannot disagree with anything said about that thing that's being said. Something's being said about. If I present two different choices and one makes more sense, that is natural law, that it would be the right thing for me to do is to go with that one that makes more sense, to be right reason. Be reasonable. That's the reasonable thing to do. Our country is based off of this principle of natural law. Now that word, I guess it can be said in a few different ways, but some people like to call it common law. They try to separate common law from natural law. They don't necessarily understand what they're doing when they do that. But common law is just natural law that is now common knowledge amongst the people. That thing, that decision, way, that comment, whatever it was that was said, has been said so many times that it is now common. From my studyings, anyways. But common law, I mean, natural law is truth. Truth. It's a truth, basically, absolute truth. You don't want to get it. A lot of people try to confuse everything out there. It's not that confusing, honestly. Now, whether you agree with that or not, what we can come down to is those words called right reasoning, right? Because that's common. It's not as common to use those words natural law, but natural law is, honestly, it's a really simple thing, really simple term. In the Declaration of Independence, one of the first principles addressed is called the laws of nature and nature's God. The laws of nature and nature's God. Why? Because both those things, whether human nature or natural resource nature, are ran by that law, natural law. There's a way that there's things that that are there in place for them to act the way they are. Molecules, neurons, electrons, protons, all those are there, and there's things that allow them to function the way they do, and the way they function is what the natural law is at that same exact time. But yes, natural law. Hopefully, it's not too confusing. Natural law in politics. Was to present two arguments. To understand natural law in politics, you kind of have to have a little bit more understanding of situations and examples, and those come with time. Those come with topics and issues, but you have to understand what I mean when I say that. If I say life, liberty, and property, well, if I say abortions are wrong, you would have to have an understanding of life, liberty, and property, what those things are, and then kind of why they exist. Before you can understand why one side of the argument is natural law for the right thing. Those words natural law can be used kind of interchangeably, I guess you can say, with the laws of nature, or eternal law, or divine law. It also just comes down to how far you can reason, because as far as reasoning goes, that may not explain something godly in the scriptures to somebody who can't understand the reasoning behind it, or has not had the reasoning explained to him. But with somebody who could get down pretty good far into reasoning, I think it'd be pretty easy to understand how natural law is applicable in the scriptures as well, in a godly sense. But I'm just going to leave that right there, because maybe that'll help already. I think that addressed a lot of confusion on that term natural law, and what other words people use: divine law, eternal law. Those are all words that mean the same thing as natural law. Natural law just seems to be a little bit more standoutish right now. It's natural. It's a law. It's right reasoning. It's basically what everything's based off of, why the existence of everything that exists, and why everything is the way they are. Your eyebrows on your above your eyes, your head shaped like a circle, an oval, pupils being there. Everything's based off of reasoning. It's the reason for all these type of things and why they exist. Going throughout the time in life, and is why we're here on this earth, is basically to figure out natural law and how they exist in so many things, as much as we can figure out while we're here in our existence and for our time being on the earth right now. And that is what we're to do and are supposed to try to figure out. That is a great thing, because life gets boring and we don't want it to get that boring. So we want to make sure life stays good and fun and exciting, and natural law is fun. Especially how it applies to those things that you already have knowledge on, that you feel like you value, or that you value already in doing. I'm just going to close it up right here. Hopefully that's a very basic grasp some type of basic foundational understanding from that, and from this little conversation, comment / topic. But I'm going to cut it off right here. So.